This is the iPhone XR, and today I'm going to tell you about my experience with it over the past 20 months. The iPhone XR was released in October 2018 and currently costs around €499 or dollars MSRP. It is available in either 64 or 128 gigs of storage, with the upgrade setting you back 50 of your currency. Well, at least if it is euro or dollar it is. Be sure to also look for the used offerings though. It features quite a large 6.1-inch screen, though not as big as some other offerings. For me, the screen size seems almost perfect, although it might be a little stretched to reach the very top of the screen when using it one-handedly. Speaking of the top of the screen, that's actually where the Face ID sensors are located, which are used to safely unlock your iPhone. And, well, it just works. Although nowadays, in times of COVID, a step back to a fingerprint reader would certainly be welcome as well. The quality of the screen is very good. It looks crisp, and I never felt like I was really missing out on something in that department. When it comes to the back, we are just getting one single camera, although picture quality wise, this one is still a good camera in 2021. Not the best of course, and if you're looking for ultrawides or macros, you're certainly wrong here, but it gets the job done quite nicely. Port wise, the XR has just a single one, and it's, as reused from Apple anyway, a Lightning port. Other than that, you're gonna have to use the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi capabilities of the phone to connect to whatever you want to connect to. This does not feature a 3.5mm headphone jack, in case that's your jam. Well, it's an iPhone, so it feels as premium as you would imagine it to be. Not only does the physical unit, but also the software. In this case, we are talking about iOS 14. Whilst according to other users, problems have been caused by the newest version of iOS, I am not usually experiencing any hiccups when using my trusty old companion. Only exception are some apps who have simply lost their will to work properly, coming from a previous version, but it is a very small minority of them. As I already mentioned earlier, the back camera is doing quite a decent job for an iPhone originally released in October 2018. Though, don't expect any magic happen. If you're the kind of person who really needs an amazing camera, probably even an ultrawide or a macro lens, then you might have to look elsewhere. Other than that, the camera is totally fine for me. When it comes to the front camera, this one is excellent. Even in 2021, I couldn't wish for anything more really, especially when looking into the portrait mode features. The camera really shines. Well, it's Apple, so there's an app for anything really. From counting down days to Christmas to learning to fly. Almost every major app is compatible with iOS, and therefore you're not losing out on anything really. Keep in mind though, that a small percentage of apps which are free on Android might cost a teeny tiny amount on iOS, but in my opinion, it's a sacrifice worth making for the neat and perfectly integrated experience of iOS. In case you never heard of it, there's something called an ecosystem, an interconnected system, as Google told me. What that means with Apple devices is you get immense synergy when using multiple Apple devices, like an iPhone, iPad and Mac for example. You get to use AirDrop, being able to simply drop your files onto any nearby Apple device. You'll get all your normal texts on your Mac as well, and you'll be able to use your iCloud without any hassle. In the end, what it comes down to is ultimate convenience. If you're willing to take the risk that you might get locked down in the ecosystem at one point, and coming out again might, well, really get tricky, then you should definitely go for it. Otherwise, well, tough luck I guess. For me though, I definitely love it. The battery in the iPhone XR is outstanding. Through normal day-to-day use, I'm usually getting almost through 2 days from charge to charge. Though with stronger use, it might only be able to get you through 1.5 days, but even then, it is still way better than many other phones out there. For me, battery life is one of the biggest selling points for staying with the XR instead of upgrading to the 12 mini, for example. Battery health-wise, after 20 months of daily use, I'm still having 95% maximum capacity in my cells, which to me is superb. I could not wish for anything more really. In my day-to-day use, the iPhone XR stacks up perfectly well. I never feel like I'm missing out on something, or it's slowing me down in any way. This just shows how powerful modern phones really can be. Already more than 2.5 years on the market and still no major performance dips whatsoever, not even with the newest version of iOS. One thing that certainly needs some attention though is the size of it. That's what she said. The XR is not enormous like an iPhone Max, but it's also far from small. For me personally, I don't really get issues carrying it around, although with some small jean pockets it might struggle a little bit. But for me, that's worth it, cause I really enjoy the screen size that much. It just gives you so much more space to work with. Also central to my day-to-day use is the implementation of Apple Pay, a way to use the phone on most contactless readers to pay for, well, anything you want to. It's especially nice because it keeps everything nicely sorted. As already mentioned before, the iPhone XR certainly does not lack in the performance department either. I never really experienced any slowdowns while using it. Keep in mind though that I don't usually use my phone for any kind of gaming, but even if you would, I'm certain that it will still stack up to be plenty of powerful, even for more demanding games. Other than gaming, it also handles your day-to-day tasks brilliantly. Switching between apps really is a breeze, and so is just using it in general. If you're looking for a phone that is offering 2021 top-of-the-line performance, well, that's not the XR, but for normal use, it definitely is a worthy contender. The only real compromises you have to make are the size, camera, and, if you're not already in the ecosystem, the ecosystem. Other than that, you're getting a very nice and capable phone, even in 2021. Also, one time I experienced software issues, which meant that my phone basically destroyed itself. Software-wise, obviously. Fortunately, I was still covered under warranty, and I was able to sort it out with Apple's excellent support team within days. I don't really think it's an issue with the XR, but rather with the operating system, but I believe this needs to be mentioned either way. The iPhone XR is a great mid-range phone, not just a great iPhone. If you're looking for an iPhone in 2021 and not wanting to spend too much money, this one's the one to go for really. At just 100 of your currency if it's euro or dollar, more expensive than the SE with a much bigger screen and fresh looks, it's definitely worth it. If you're interested though, you might want to also consider the used market, as this phone is already out for quite some time and many early customers might want to look into upgrading theirs as well. So keep your eyes out on platforms like eBay or your local used marketplace, where you might get it quite significantly cheaper. Well, that's it really. Thank you very much for watching this video. It's been a long time since I made the last YouTube video on another channel. I think about more than 6 years, most probably. So if you have any feedback, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. I will definitely have a look at each and every comment. Also, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave me a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more like this. I'm looking into bringing out more reviews like this, probably also further video formats, mainly going into the tech sphere of things, but always putting it simply so it's easy to understand. Yeah, that's it really. Thank you very much for watching and have a nice day.